For more information on all of OFA's home ownership programs, visit myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org.
Broadcasting from the Compare Quote Insurance Studios.
They do the shopping, you do the saving. CompareQuoteInsurance.com.
WBNS FM HD1 Columbus. The Fan. This is Inside the Crew, your weekly look at all things black and gold. Here's your host, Neil Seika and Dwight Burgess.
Welcome in. Inside the Crew, another edition. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Neil Seika with you. Dwight Burgess out. And a little under the weather. And we wish Dwight the best. Busy show to get to leading into the final game for Columbus before their Gold Cup break. They'll play this Saturday against New York City. We'll preview the Pigeons with Glenn Crooks a little bit later on next segment. They've got a league-high 7 ties. They're unbeaten in their last 8, just 1 loss. And then a little bit later on, we'll talk Women's World Cup, which is about to get going in France. JP Dellacamera will call all the Americans games for Fox. He'll join the show a little bit later on. Look ahead to your weekend Major League Soccer. Big international competitions. U20 World Cup is ongoing. You've got the Gold Cup just around the corner. Not only the continental competitions, Copa America and the U21 Euros. So a lot of soccer to keep your eyes on, even if the Crew are not playing. And hopefully they can go out on a good note because, as everyone knows, it's been a little bit of a struggle. Losing 8 of their last 9 and currently a 3-game losing streak. Tough one on Saturday. You know, that's a back-and-forth affair. It can go either way. The good news, the goals come. They finally get to Zardes, Santos. You want to see your designated players score. But this team's bedrock in the early season, maybe even when they weren't playing their best, they could rely on their defense. Now, Zack Steffen returns, but 2 goals given up on set pieces. Yeah, the game winner, a pretty darn good shot by Mosqueda. But then you give one up in the middle in transition in that long, contradicting myself, the long first-half stoppage time. Nevertheless, Colorado wins 2 in a row, and the Crew are still searching for that consistent run of form. Can they head into the 2-week break with the win against New York City? We'll find out. You always have a shot when you have a goalkeeper who's as world-class as Zack Steffen. It's been fun watching him play the last 2+ seasons since he was acquired late 2016 on a discovery signing by Greg Berhalter. This will be his final game with the Crew as he's heading off to Manchester City. Record transfer fee for a goalkeeper as we reminisced earlier today, and we're going to play that for you now, about his run here in Columbus and what's ahead for big number 23, who will play his final game for Columbus on Saturday. Many nicknames for this guy over the last couple of seasons. The Big Cat, Dam of Downingtown is my favorite, but he's the reigning MLS goalkeeper of the year. His swan song with Columbus coming up on Saturday against New York City. Zack Steffen here on Inside the Crew. Thanks for joining the show, Z.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
As your time winds down with Columbus, what are you thinking about right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to put it into to a few words. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts going on. My time here and all the good that's come here, and even the bad, and on it, yeah, the good and bad on and off the field. And I don't really know what's coming next. I know where I'm going, but I don't know what's going to happen. So it's a big change, and it's a little weird feeling. Bittersweet for sure.
It's probably a throwback to, 2-3 years ago when you're in Freiburg, you want to come back to the States. Greg Berhalter made a discovery claim and quite the 3-year run since. Did you ever even think, perhaps when you're playing in Pittsburgh, those 10 games you had at the end of 2016, that you'd be in this position right now today?
I was hoping on it. I was planning on it, but I mean, you never know what life throws at you, and what path you're gonna go down, and what life's gonna bring. So I mean, I just go throughout life focusing day by day, and focusing on what I can control, and I'm very proud that to be where I am today.
No doubt about it. Humble man. Zack Steffen with us here on Inside the Crew. You mentioned some of the struggles, just the field struggles right now for the team. Another tough loss against Colorado. Man, it would be nice to just go into the Gold Cup break with a win against New York City. And ironically enough, that's a group under City Football Club management. But more importantly for the psyche, whether you're here or not, this group, which started the season very strong, to stay afloat around that playoff line and go into the Gold Cup break with some good thoughts, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this game is very important for us. This weekend coming up, and it's at home against a very good team, and we're going to have to come out and play our game and stay focused and committed for 90 minutes. And I'm hoping to get a shutout and my time here in Columbus on a positive note.
You expect to make the big saves in the crucial moments, the wow factor. We've seen it in the playoffs and the knockout rounds with the PK saves. What's impressed you about your development here, regardless of the coach? Let's go back and remember how you were in a goalkeeping battle with Brad Stuver to start 2017. What's impressed you the most about your development from your return to the States to now?
I mean, I would probably have to say my consistency. I mean, that's probably the hardest thing in life is to stay consistent throughout your whole life with whatever you do. And the older you get, the more you learn about life and what's real. And so to keep your mind and your mental stable is really hard, and to keep yourself working hard and dedicated and passionate, and the love for the game, day in and day out, and game in and game out. I would have to say my consistent play for the most part is what I'm most impressed with.
Zack Steffen, our guest here on Inside the Crew. MLS record transfer fee for a goalkeeper when Manchester City completed the deal back in December. Tim Howard was atop that list for quite some time, and when he was acquired by Manchester United back in 2003. And we've had these conversations before where you look forward to playing against him, and it's ironic that, again, most recently you saw him this past weekend. What advice did he give you? What kind of conversation did you have? And what kind of conversations have you had maybe since the deal has transpired?
Yeah, so he pulled me aside after the game, and we talked outside the locker room after we showered and stuff, and then we just talked about just catching up because I haven't seen him since last year, since they came here, and so we were just catching up, and then he was saying he wants to get over to Europe at the end of the season. He's got some business over there, and he wants to come and catch a game wherever I land, and anything I need, he's there for me, and so that was really important for me and important to me that he took the time and offered all of that.
A big idol of yours, Zack Steffen, with us here on Inside the Crew and your conversations with Tim Howard. You mentioned that there is, I guess, a little uncertainty, too, to what is next because of the work permit situation. You've got the Gold Cup coming up. We'll talk about the national team in just a moment. Manchester City has maybe spoken on loaning you out to Girona. There's been this and that. What can you share with us, or do you know in terms of the possibility of your next club destination?
So they're still working on that, and then I don't think that'll be done for another, maybe until the time the Gold Cup starts. But yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that I'm going over there and I'm just going to embrace it all wherever I land. That doesn't matter. The soccer is what matters, and as long as I have that mentality, I think I'll be just fine.
Did someone send you a back-to-back Premier League champions shirt?
No, not yet. But I better get one.
What's going on there? I hope you got Tim Howard's jersey, right, last weekend?
I got it last year.
Oh yes, last year in September when you guys played.
Yep.
The Gold Cup starts on June 18th. Guyana, the opponent at Allianz Field. Zack Steffen pegged to be the number one going into the continental competition for Greg Berhalter's team. What are you most looking forward to about the Gold Cup? You played in 8 games before, but this is the first ratcheted-up competition on American soil. That's got to make you excited.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's nice that, friendlies are always nice playing against those top teams, but now that there's competition, I mean, there's a lot more at stake, and the pressure's on, and it's in our home country. So, I mean, what more could you want?
And you've got teammates, too, that are on that provisional roster and most likely to make the final with Will Trapp and Jossie Zardes. Has that been an interesting dichotomy? Not only your teammates with you, but playing for your coach at the club level, who's now the coach of the national team, in Greg Berhalter.
Yeah, it's funny. No, but it'll be good to see all of them and to get back in that system and to see the national team guys again. It's been a little bit of a time since I've seen them. I haven't seen them since January camp, so I'm really looking forward to going and meeting up with those guys, with Will and Jossie, this Sunday.
We had your boy John Kempen on the show last week. As you had tweeted out, mentioning you were looking forward to listening. I don't know if you did.
No, I never listened. I
never did. It's okay.
I need to, though. I will.
Great advertisement for Inside the Crew. But Zach will listen when he's flying overseas. But you guys have become great friends. I'm just curious, once the contract was announced and the transfer move, what have you done to maybe celebrate or take some time to yourself to enjoy about reaching that type of height and destination in your soccer career? What can you share with us?
I mean,
did you buy anything for yourself?
Not really, no. When I got back from when the whole deal was done and I got back home, I went out to a really, really nice dinner with my family. So that was really nice, and we celebrated then. That was really nice. And then, I mean, John and I's thing is like our favorite things is to go out to dinner and get a nice bottle of wine or two and just relax and with good company and good food. And that's like one of our favorite things to do. So we've done that a handful of times this year and just to celebrate and remember everything that we did and the good times that we had.
No doubt about that. A lot of good times, a lot of good memories in the Crew soccer community. Maybe a dance festival for you, a music festival coming up, I would think, right?
I would hope so, but no, too much soccer.
the schedule's too busy. Yeah. You can't fit it in.
Way too busy.
Yeah.
Nah, maybe next year.
Have you gotten a Gritty Plush yet? Do you know what Gritty is? We had this conversation earlier, but I hope you've caught on to that by now, right?
Gritty Plus? Is that what you just said?
A Gritty Plush doll, the Flyers
what
mascot.
Is that? Oh, jeez.
I'm going to get that. That is my parting gift to you. I'm going to buy you one. I'm going to buy you one.
I would love it. I would cherish it forever.
Well, listen, man, it's been a pleasure watching you play the last couple of years, and we're looking forward to a great game Saturday against New York City to wrap it up, and all the best in your career. Of course, we'll keep in touch down the road, and I know Dwight sends his best as well, but we want to thank you for this and wish you all the best with your success, which you've earned.
You're the man, Neil. I appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
That's Zack Steffen, Inside the Crew 97.1. We'll come back. We're going to talk NYC with Glenn Crooks. Stay with us here on The Fan.
It's a new era for the black and gold. We are your home for the Crew all season long. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ohio, welcome to Save Yourself with Geico.
You gather some coworkers around your laptop to watch the funniest video ever.
So funny.
But nobody is laughing. You couldn't save yourself from the next 3 minutes of unlaughable regret. But you could save yourself hundreds by switching your car insurance to Geico.
Yes.
You could save on motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance, too.
Nice.
Plus, the Geico Insurance Agency could help you save on homeowners and renters insurance.
Oh.
While your sense of humor has become your biggest problem, problem, you should know Geico is the second largest auto insurer in the country.
Okay.
Geico even has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been helping people save money for over 75 years.
Ooh.
And while your little video party isn't going as expected, you could expect more savings like federal and military discounts from your local Geico agent.
You couldn't save yourself from a laughless video flop, but you could save yourself hundreds with Geico online, over the phone, or at your local office.
You deserve the best of everything. And you deserve to have it all close to home, especially when it comes to your health. That's why Mount Carmel is proud to announce that Mount Carmel Grove City is now open. As the first full-service hospital in the Grove City area, we're focused on providing you and your family with comprehensive heart and vascular care, orthopedics, maternity care, neuroscience, cancer care, and more. And it's all closer to home. To learn more, visit mountcarmelhealth.com.
Save big at the Buy One, Get One Free event going on now at Kroger. Take home deals on family favorites like delicious meats, beverages, snacks, and more. Choose from any participating items, and when you buy one, you'll get another one free. Just look for the special offer throughout the store and stock up and save today. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger for the Buy One, Get One Free event going on now. It's a limited time offer and restrictions apply. Fresh food, low prices at Kroger. Looking for fresh, delicious produce that fits your budget? It's right around the corner at your neighborhood Kroger. As one of America's largest produce buyers, Kroger gets the pick of the crop at savings we pass on to you. That's peak of the season freshness, priced right.
California sweet red cherries are $1.88 a pound, and bone-in ribeye steaks are $5.99 a pound in the value pack with card. Fresh food, low prices at Kroger.
Say, have you ever noticed how some people have this drive-through voice? You know, they'll hit the Tim Hortons drive-through and be all like, "I'll have a coffee and a donut." Now, I get it. It is exciting to order food from your car, especially when it's an Oreo Iced Cap Supreme, so creamy and frosty, blended with bits of Oreo cookies. Wow! Soon you'll be at a Tim Hortons drive-thru and be all like, "I'll have an Oreo Iced Cap Supreme, please." Hurry to Tim Hortons now for an Oreo Iced Cap Supreme. For a limited time at participating restaurants. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group used under license.
We can give our children a strong economy and a clean environment. The future is in our hands. Fair and responsible energy reform for today and tomorrow. The Ohio Clean Air Program ensures more clean energy generated in Ohio by Ohioans for Ohio. By modernizing our environmental goals, we encourage the growth of Ohio-made energy from wind, solar, and other sources that reduce carbon dioxide in our air. And by investing at home, not in other states, we will create new jobs and a better economy, helping Ohio families and entrepreneurs. The Ohio Clean Air Program improves our environment, creates jobs, and lowers what you pay for electricity. It's time to reform Ohio's energy goals. Protect what's precious. Call your representative at 800-282-0253. Encourage them to support the Ohio Clean Air Program. Don't let out-of-state profiteers continue to steal Ohio's jobs and our children's future. Paid for by Generation Now, Inc.
In the new 2019 Acura ILX, control is yours for the taking. Take control of your phone with available Android Auto integration. Take control of the conversation with the striking diamond Pentagon grille. And help keep things under control with Acura Watch Advanced Safety and Driver Assistance Technology. Standard. Put control in your hands and test drive the ILX today. The new 2019 Acura ILX. Total control.
Visit your Central Ohio Acura dealers. Proud partners of Columbus Crew SC.
50 million Americans live with a brain or spine condition. For all those people, at Ohio Health, we never stop. Turning crooked smiles into big grins after a stroke, and cautious steps into confident strides for those with Parkinson's disease. It's how we got to be one of the nation's 15 top health systems. Just like you never stop looking for answers, we never stop. Connect with us at ohiohealth.com/we never stop. Ohio Health Neuroscience. Believe in we.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Seika and Dwight Burgess.
Back here on Inside the Crew. I want to thank Zack Steffen again. Not only a hell of a player, as everyone's well aware, but a great person as well. We wish him all the best. Hell of a guy as well as our next guest. voice of New York City FC, which is the opponent Saturday, 7:30. Crew's last game before their little Gold Cup hiatus. Glenn Crooks is with us here. How you doing, Glenn?
Hello, Neil. I watched Zack Steffen play as a freshman at the University of Maryland against Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey. And although Rutgers didn't put too much pressure on him in that game, you could just see him, man. He had to come up big a couple of times. And I remember commenting, the guy I worked the game with, it was like, wow, this kid's really good. And it has turned out that way.
Yes, not too bad. And, of course, the irony is City Football Group, New York City, the opponent for his last game. But, my, what 2.5+ years he's had here. And, of course, you've had a good eye for talent. So we knew that we can trust in your freshman year opinion of knowing where this guy was going to go. But a special player for sure. Yeah, and,
good goalkeepers stand out because, for me, there's not a lot of good goalkeepers. I mean, there's good keepers, but who's great? Who's the
correct?
Who can play at the next level? And sometimes it's evident. And the other thing you do, and I do this all the time because you never know quite, and did this in recruiting as well, you have to go watch warm-ups. You have to watch keepers in warm-ups because sometimes nothing happens during the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just spoke with a guy named Bruce Grobbelaar. I don't know if you know that name, but he's a Liverpool keeper for 13 years. And Bob Paisley was his coach, legendary coach at Liverpool. And when he signed Grobbelaar, he never saw him play a game. He just watched him in warm-up and knew that he was ready to go. So anyway.
Mind of a coach, which, yes, Glenn did for the Rutgers women for several years. He's the voice of New York City FC. Let's talk about the Pigeons, Glenn. 7 ties, that's a league high, and yes, they're unbeaten now going back over their last 8 games. Just the one loss to Toronto FC. David Villa no longer here. Matriza, Hebert have added a little bit in terms of your designated player attack, but where do you feel this temperature is right now under Dome Tehran, the ups and downs and bowing out of the playoffs? What do you get at the impressions of this group right now?
Well, Eber has been the critical addition because there was this curiosity as to whether he could really fulfill the striker role, the true number 9, because he had played as a wing in his previous club over the last 2 years. Really productive, though, like 25 goals in 38 matches. But New York City needed a striker. That's all Dome Tehran has been talking about since the end of January. The new striker, the new striker, the new striker. Well, it turned out to be Eber, and he can play. He can play in the middle, and it's really benefited the attack immensely. And he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. But you see that New York City's scoring on a more consistent basis when they weren't early on, when they went without a victory over the first 7 weeks of MLS. So I think more than anything else, Eber and this 18-year-old kid at the back, James Sands, the big change in shape from a 4-back system to a 3-back system. Sands goes from a holding midfield role to a central defender role where he's marshaling that group of 3 with Maxime Chenot to the right, Alexander Collins to the left, a couple of veteran guys. But it's Sands that has really made that work. So those 2 things in particular, and Dome Tehran getting more comfortable with his team. He feels that he's got 100% support from his team. And the only question is, really, does he have 100% support from the City Football Group and New York City FC? Because Brian Marwood spent about 2 weeks in the area watching games and training. He's the guy that oversees all the satellite clubs for City Football Group. Good guy. Got a chance to talk to him. Didn't really ask him, hey, are you here to look closely at Dome? Because when he was here in the States, New York City had not won their first game yet. And while he was here, they did, at DC United, a 2-0 win, a really huge moment for Dome Tehran and New York City this year because, obviously, there was a lot of talk about what's going on.
Yeah, 4 wins in their last 6 games among the 8-game unbeaten streak. That D.C. victory you just referenced was on Easter Sunday. We're talking with Glenn Crooks here on Inside the Crew, voice of NYC. Do you get the sense that Dome Tehran is comfortable now, or maybe you were always feeling on the edge, especially with his pedigree and coming over from a Pep Guardiola coach team. Of course, there's a lot of success going through the years there. But what do you get the sense of his adjustments now that he's been around almost a full season?
Yeah, well, at first, last year when he first arrived, and then New York City may have had the craziest schedule of any of the MLS teams last year. There were 3 occasions in the second half of the season where they were playing 3 matches in 7 days or 3 matches in 8 or 6. And some of those were followed by 2-week breaks. And it was a really awkward schedule. He was losing guys to injury, international. I mean, this happens to everyone. But here's a guy coming over from, from his home in Girona, Spain, but more specifically Manchester City. And I think it hit him hard. Those things are maybe more difficult to prepare for than we know. And, you know, he's coming from out of the country. He hadn't spent much time in the States, but he loves New York City. He's very comfortable where he lives with his family. And I think he has gained a comfort with working in MLS, and especially with his team. Because I can tell you, I have been around a lot of teams over the years and get a chance to be on the road with these guys, go to training sessions. And the only thing I can tell you is that something was missing. It wasn't quite right, and that was even in the early portion of this season. And the guy, we talk about Eber, and we talk about his productivity and his ability to help the attack a little bit more. His addition, the most important part of his addition might be what Dome said last week. He's just a lovely guy, this happy Brazilian who is just all about Jenga, being happy, playing the beautiful game. And Dome said he has really lightened the mood. He's been an important fixture in the clubhouse and in the dressing room. And, it's interesting how one guy can turn the fortunes of a team, not only on the field, but this guy also off the field. And I think he's alleviated, a lot of the tension. Obviously winning helps more maybe than anything, but he's a big part of that too. So all those things combined, I think New York City's in a pretty good way right now.
They've won 4 of their last 6. They're unbeaten in their last 8, just 1 loss, and they'll take on Columbus for the first of 2 this season. That comes Saturday at 7:30, and pregame coverage starts here on The Fan at 7. Glenn Crooks, looking forward to seeing you this weekend, Glenn. Should be a good one as the Crew head into their Gold Cup break, but I would expect a competitive game knowing that what's at stake and how Columbus has had their run of form as of late, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, 2 contrasting seasons, really.
Sure.
The Crew opened up with just, 1 loss in their...
Yeah, they were 4-1-1 in their first 6, yeah.
Right. And then New York City hadn't won anything in that period of time, and now the reverse fortunes. But one thing you said, and you mentioned at the outset, the 7 draws, those ties, look, there's a circumstance this weekend. If Columbus defeats New York City and Toronto wins, they're on the road. I had looked it up. Who are they playing? Toronto is playing at Vancouver.
Correct. Friday.
If the Reds win and Columbus wins, New York City all of a sudden falls below the playoff line after all the good things that have been going on. So it's a crazy conference, but those ties, it might come back to haunt them. We'll see.
Yeah, MLS. That's why we love it.
That's right, man.
Glenn, look forward to seeing you this weekend. Thanks for this, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, Neil. Thanks. Look forward to seeing you.
Glenn Crooks, voice of New York City FC. Crew, Pigeons, Saturday, 7:30. We come back. We talk FIFA Women's World Cup with JP Dellacamera. This is Inside the Crew on The Fan.
Making radio classy again.
We are a classy bunch.
Bishop and Laurinaitis.
Weekdays from 10 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Common Man here for Weed Man. Let's talk about mosquitoes. They suck, and you may think there's nothing you can do about them, but you'd be wrong. Call my guys at Weed Man. Here's what they do. They target where mosquitoes live, put down regular applications to reduce mosquitoes on your property. It's safer for you, the kiddos, and those pets, too. Yeah, they get bitten, too. And, of course, they can get you that green, weed-free lawn of your dreams. I am proud to be a Weed Man customer. For a free quote, go to weedmanusa.com. That's weedmanusa.com.
When someone gives you a gift, it's customary to accept it. A gift of winding trails, wrapped in blue skies and fresh air. A gift of rivers, lakes, and streams, overflowing with possibility. Of aerial zipline adventure. amidst a sky-high canopy of scenic forest, or the gift of a self-guided tour on 2 wheels or 4. It's the gift of West Virginia, the gift of adventure that I always accepted because it's exactly what I need.
And the promise of adventure is delivered right in the name at Adventures on the Gorge. Whether you're trying to touch the sky ziplining and rock climbing, or longing to cool off rafting and paddleboarding, this breathtaking resort at the New River Gorge overflows with possibility. Find your version of adventure at wvtourism.com.
What's on your list this week at Meijer? Find great deals and low prices on meals for the family and more. Chicken drumsticks and thighs are only 88 cents per pound. General Mills and Kellogg's cereal are 3 for $10. Glad waste bags are buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, get rewarded for the way you shop. Sign up for mPerks at mperks.com. Your list costs less with great deals and low prices at Meijer. Why pay more? Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
The Memorial Tournament will be at the center of the golf world. The elites will compete for the ultimate prize, a Golden Bear handshake. And for some reason, they have invited us. The Fan broadcast live from Muirfield Village.
Brought to you by Byers Airport Subaru.
The Fan.
You deserve the best of everything. And you deserve to have it all close to home, especially when it comes to your health. That's why Mount Carmel is proud to announce that Mount Carmel Grove City is now open. As the first full-service hospital in the Grove City area, we're focused on providing you and your family with comprehensive heart and vascular care, orthopedics, maternity care, neuroscience, cancer care, and more. And it's all closer to home. To learn more, visit mountcarmelhealth.com.
If you are working in the healthcare field and are ready to advance your career, now's the perfect time to enhance your credentials with a master's degree in healthcare administration from Ohio Dominican University. Because ODU's healthcare administration master's degree is available 100% online, you can complete your graduate degree virtually anytime, anywhere. In a hurry, our accelerated format allows you to earn your master's in as few as 18 months. Learn more about our online healthcare administration master's degree and all of our online offerings at ohiodominican.edu/radio.
Hear that? That's the sweet sound of Minute Maid slushies at McDonald's, turning up your summer. Every sip, slurp, and brought to you by 3 refreshingly chill flavors like blue raspberry, fruit punch, and new sweet peach. Only at McDonald's and only for summer. At participating McDonald's for a limited time. Minute Maid is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Find the home of your dreams with help from the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. OFA's Ohio Heroes program rewards Ohio residents who serve the public with a discounted mortgage interest rate. The Ohio Heroes program helps veterans, active duty military, first responders, teachers, nurses, and other service industry workers buy homes through down payment assistance, lower interest rates, and more. For more information on all of OFA's home ownership programs, visit myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Seika and Dwight Burgess.
Back here on Inside the Crew. And the countdown is on to the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. Our next guest needs no introduction. He's a friend of the show, and he's the voice of the tournament on Fox, which for the United States women's starts June 11th. That's a Tuesday against Thailand in Reims. JP Dellacamera, our old friend. How you doing, JP?
I'm doing well, Neil. Still have some packing to do before France, but I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, a week away, and the excitement is building for the 3-time champions. And, of course, most recently in 2015 in Canada. United States, this group, number 1 in the world, unbeaten in their last 9 competitive matches, the send-off game against Mexico, all the headlines, they're the favorites. I think we kind of rehash this conversation every time a World Cup runs around. Who can beat them, and what do you make of this roster and what this group can do?
Well, I think there's only 3 other teams that are capable of winning this Women's World Cup, and those would be France for sure, Germany, and England. I think others could do it, but that would be based on the U.S. being eliminated, let's say, earlier than anyone would be expecting. Because I think if the U.S. was out of it, it's more of an open tournament. I think there's still a fear factor with some of these countries, an intimidation factor that the U.S. has over them, where a team like Canada, let's say, or Australia or Sweden, they're good teams, but I don't see them winning the Women's World Cup. So those would be the four teams that I think could win it: USA, Germany, France, and England. I think the roster is very good. It's very deep. I think I would like to have seen some younger players on that roster, but Jill Ellis is going with experience. Those last three selections surprised some people, especially the selection of Morgan Bryan, because Morgan hadn't really been with the team. But I understand Jill going for experience. You know, there's nothing like having played in a World Cup before, whether it's men's or women's. And in the case of Ali Krieger, certainly, she's played at a World Cup before. She's played in a couple of them. So I understand that Jill's feeling is if she had to use Krieger in a game situation, she knows what to expect. She knows what Ali can do. So I think the roster itself, very good, a lot of depth. But the key will be, I think, staying healthy, because there are some players on this team that I think are going to be very, very difficult to replace.
No doubt about that. JP Dellacamera with us here on Inside the Crew. We're talking Women's World Cup. The United States starts on June 11th against Thailand. It's kind of another run maybe coming to an end for the golden generation. You mentioned some names on the roster with Krieger, Sauerbrunn, Carly Lloyd. Some of those in their mid-30s, Megan Rapinoe. Where do you think this group of players at the tail end of their international careers, and never say never, but where do you think they will rank in terms of how they'll be remembered from, say, the initial golden generation? Of course, you called the historic championship in 1999, but where does this group, that upper echelon, sit with the history of the U.S. women's game?
I think the 99ers are, in a category by themselves, and that's because of all that they accomplished at that time, and they had so many mega stars and mega personalities. Not to take anything away from this team. I think this team is extremely talented individually and collectively. I think that their legacy will obviously be strong and maybe stronger if they continue to win. If they win this Women's World Cup and maybe win the Olympics next year, it would be hard to deny their place in history. But it's always tough, Neil, to compare different generations, right? Because I think I've said this before. I'm a Michael Jordan guy. LeBron is amazing athlete. But if you ask me who's better, I go with Jordan. As great as Sidney Crosby is and anyone else you want to put up there, I'm a Gretzky guy. The Bulls dynasty to me was the greatest, even if the Warriors continue to win. So that's why I think I hold the 99ers in a certain category. You could always debate, who was better individually and collectively. But I think that this is going to be a strong legacy for this group no matter what, because they did win a Women's World Cup. But could they win another one? And could they win the Olympics? I think that will help to define their place in history.
JP Dellacamera, our guest here on Inside the Crew. What's your biggest concern for this U.S. team? Or where are they vulnerable? Where could a Germany, an England, or a France make them susceptible and beat them?
Okay, I would say three concerns. One is injury. There are, I think, three players on this team that are not really replaceable, like for like, if you will. And Alex Morgan is a special player for me. If she were to suffer an injury, I think that's difficult to replace her, because no matter who you put in there, whether you put in Lloyd, they play differently with Carly in there. If you play Press there, now you lose a very valuable member off of your bench. I think Rapinoe is another one of those players that would be tough to replace. She brings so many different things to the game that they don't really have a like-for-like swap there. And if you brought in, let's say, a Mallory Pugh for her, you lose a ton of experience and leadership if you make that designation. I think that players like Lindsey Horan and Julie Ertz are also in that category where it's tough to replace them like for like. without affecting your depth. And then I think there's two other concerns for me. One is goalkeeper, and nothing against Alyssa Nair. It's her first tournament as number one. So that's my only concern. How does she handle that pressure? She's probably tired of hearing Hope Solo comparisons. There really is no comparison to Hope Solo. Not just for the U.S. No other nation that's in this World Cup has a goalkeeper that was as good as Hope Solo. So the question is, how does Alyssa respond with that pressure as the number one goalkeeper? And I don't mean in the first game. She's not going to be tested by Thailand, or in the second game either. But how does she respond, let's say, in game 3 when it really matters? And also overall defensively, and I'm not talking back four, I'm talking collectively on defense. I mean, last year, I think it was 10 goals total they gave up in 20 games, something like that. And this year they passed that in far less games, and they were giving up goals in consecutive games, multiple goals they were giving up. And that's unlike this team. So I think that's still a concern. I think they're going to be strong. I think they're going to be strong in goal. I think they're going to win this tournament. But a lot of things can happen at a World Cup on the women's side as well as on the men's side.
JP Dellacamera, Fox's lead announcer, and the team of him and Allie Wagner will have the calls for all the United States women's games starting June 11th in France. I'm sure you and Allie have had these discussions of maybe a young player or a name that isn't really known to the populace that may have a breakout tournament. Who are you looking forward maybe to seeing play that you haven't on a regular basis, or could be a breakout star?
Well, if you're talking about the U.S., I think Rose Lavelle has that capacity. Assuming she's going to be fit to go 90 minutes, she can certainly impact the game, especially in a game where somebody bunkers. I think she's even more special in that kind of a category. Mallory Pugh, how much time does she get? If she gets a lot of playing time, I think she could be a name that U.S. fans will remember. Diehard U.S. fans know who Mallory Pugh is. They know who Rose Lavelle is. But at a World Cup, just like the Olympics, you get a lot of new people tuning in, and they're not going to know who Lavelle is or Mallory Pugh. They'll probably know an Alex Morgan because they know a little bit about the game, or a Carly Lloyd because they remember 2015. But those would be the two young players, I would say, Lavelle and Pugh, that could make a name. There'll be other players on various teams depending on how far they go, and we'll see. Canada has some terrific young players, Heitema and Fleming, but how much action will they see, and how deep will Canada go? But I think you'll see there'll be a lot of good young, talented players on display at this Women's World Cup.
Lavelle, a Cincinnati girl, Mount Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So she'll
close by.
Be on display. Do they win it?
I always say that they will. I think this is what I say, Neil, all the time. They've got the best 11, in my opinion. They've got the best 18. You can dress all 23, right? But they've got the best 18 if you had to dress 18. They've got the best 23, and they've got to be the best coach, and a coach that's already won it before. Having said that, there are a lot of people that I've talked to that have said if they play France in the quarterfinal, it's an even game. And France might have an advantage because host nation, home crowd. So we're all anxious to see how this is going to fall out, right? If France wins their group, USA wins their group, it's a most likely scenario that they would meet in the quarterfinals. And then here's what you have. Do you lose the favorite, the best team in the world at that stage, or do you lose the host country? Either way, it's a shame that could be a matchup in the quarters. That would be an ideal matchup for the final, but it doesn't look that that's the way it would be trending. So looks like a quarterfinal matchup for France, but you never know. What if France doesn't win their group or the USA doesn't win their group? Then there are other scenarios to look at, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I do think they're the favorite, and I would pick them, but nothing surprises me anymore at a World Cup. And if you look back just to the men from last year, who had Germany winning it all? I did. I certainly, nobody had them being out in the group stage. No one had Croatia in the final. No one had England as far as they did. You know what I mean? There were so many upsets along the way. I think the women's game might be a little bit more predictable. You'd never see the U.S. as defending champs go out in the group stage, and especially when you look at that group, there's no fear of something like that happening. but there are some teams, that could surprise. Australia has, to me, the best player in the world right now in Sam Kerr. Is she alone enough to lead them all the way? We may get that answer sooner than we think at this World Cup.
The Americans go for their 4th World Cup title. That begins on June 11th in Reims against Thailand. JP Dellacamera will have the call. We will be watching all along the way. France in the summertime sounds lovely, JP. I hope you have a great time and great shows. And Crew Union late September, so we'll catch up then.
All right. Thanks, Neil.
Great stuff there. Thanks, JP. JP Dellacamera, voice of FIFA Women's World Cup in the Philadelphia Union, the godfather of American soccer broadcasting. I don't think it's too far out of the reach to say that at this point. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. This is Inside the Crew, 97.1 The Fan.
Sports, conversation, and sometimes pure stupidity.
Awesome, funny, random.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
For over 70 years, Mafre Insurance has been offering Ohio customers a full range of insurance solutions for their home and automobiles in partnership with a broad network of independent agents, helping you get the right insurance for your cars and homes, along with extra coverage like umbrella insurance, is what we pride ourselves on. Contact your independent agent to learn more about what Mafre can do for you, or visit mafreinsurance.com/crewsc.
Finding your beach with a Corona can sounds exactly the same as finding your beach with a Corona bottle. To prove it, listen as this man relaxes with the Corona can. Well, this man has a Corona bottle. Can. Bottle. Once more, the Corona can. Well, they still sound almost exactly the same. The Corona can. Another way to find your beach. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Nursing is a special calling. For many, it's a dream they hope to one day realize. With Mount Carmel College of Nursing, realizing the dream can be as few as 18 months away. If you already have a bachelor's degree, you can earn a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree through our second degree accelerated hybrid program. Flexible, convenient, designed around you. A BSN in 18 months with Mount Carmel College of Nursing. It's more than changing careers, it's changing the world for the better. Visit mccn.edu/hybrid to learn more.
With Domino's week-long carry-out deal, you can carry out large 3-topping pizzas and now medium 3-topping handmade pan pizzas for $7.99 each. It's fantastic news.
Cut. Puns?
You mean pans? Calling all pan addicts for 2 layers of cheese on crispy golden crust. So grab your panty packs, because Domino's large 3-topping pizzas and medium 3-topping handmade pan pizzas are $7.99 each. It's pandemonium. Fantastico. Carry out only. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, and charges may vary.
When someone gives you a gift, it's customary to accept it. A gift of winding trails, wrapped in blue skies and fresh air. A gift of rivers, lakes, and streams, overflowing with possibility. Of aerial zipline adventure amidst a sky-high canopy of scenic forest. Or the gift of a self-guided tour on 2 wheels or 4. It's the gift of West Virginia. The gift of adventure that I always accepted. Because it's exactly what I need.
And the promise of adventure is delivered right in the name at Adventures on the Gorge. Whether you're trying to touch the sky ziplining and rock climbing, or longing to cool off rafting and paddleboarding, this breathtaking resort at the New River Gorge overflows with possibility. Find your version of adventure at wvtourism.com.
What's on your list this week at Meijer? Find great deals and low prices on meals for the family and more. Chicken drumsticks and thighs are only 88 cents per pound. General Mills and Kellogg's cereal are 3 for $10. Glad waste bags are buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, get rewarded for the way you shop. Sign up for mPerks at mperks.com. Your list costs less with great deals and low prices at Meijer. Why pay more? Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
If you or someone you know is feeling sad, scared, embarrassed, alone, withdrawn, or even if you just need someone to talk to, there is help. Crisis Text Line offers free 24/7 confidential support. Text 4HOPE to 741-741 and you will receive help in minutes. That's 4HOPE to 741-741. Sponsored by the State of Ohio and OAC-BHA, aired in cooperation with the OAB in this station.
to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Seika and Dwight Burgess.
Hear you, what can I see? You, if I can touch you, is that enough?
Welcome back. Final segment. Remember, Crew, New York City, Saturday at Mafre Stadium, 7:30 kickoff. Pre-game coverage right here on The Fan with Chris Doran at 7. And the final game before the Crew hit their Gold Cup break. There are 5-6 games leading into next weekend before the Gold Cup commences. The United States does have one more tune-up game as their camp starts later this week, but they'll play Jamaica next weekend. One of those games is at Nippert Stadium, by the way. Venezuela is the other, coming up in a few days. You can guarantee a ticket to the August Hell is Real match with a 2019 Crew partial plan. Commitment of only 4 matches, 447 Crew for more information. Pride Night celebration, been talking about that for a few weeks. That's coming up this Saturday. All the matches for the Crew in June, including possibly the Open Cup game, although we're talking regular season here, all the regular season matches in June are at Mafre Stadium. Not only Pride Night, but Celebration of Women in Sports and the Circle of Honor. And then individual match tickets are always on sale. You've got the Circle of Honor late June. That's with Ziggy Schmid being honored, Alumni Night, and more. Don't forget about the post-match fireworks, one of the best post-game festivities all season long when it comes to the black and gold. And with that, we're heading into Week 14. I think the task at hand is well known by now for Columbus. And trying to get something out of this game, just something positive, and to continue to stay afloat as they figure things out. You know, the goals were there last weekend. The defending was not. 2 conceded on the set pieces. Around MLS and things to know for this week, of course, we'll continue to watch the U20s in the World Cup. They are 1-1 after their rebound win against Nigeria, lost to Ukraine in their opening game. Abubakar Keita, the young homegrown player from Westerville on the Columbus roster, has started both games for Tab Ramos. So that's been very encouraging. They look much better against Nigeria. They were the better team against Ukraine. They just conceded those goals. One on the set piece, and one was just the matchup with Dest in the back. Portland's got their renovations, and they're finally playing their first home game at Providence Park. You've got Bruce Arena making his coaching debut. Great job by Mike Lapper, by the way. You want to talk about a former Crew defender and assistant coach. Really locking it down defensively. They got a win and 2 ties in his spell as the interim coach, taking over for Brad Friedel, but now Bruce Arena steps into the chair. Oh, he's already in the chair. He's going to step onto the sideline. They're going to play his old team, the LA Galaxy. Also around the league, you've got Atlanta and Minnesota. Atlanta United's lost a couple in a row. Minnesota, that's a tough place to play. We saw that a few weeks ago with Columbus going up there, and they just beat Houston. So they've won 2 in a row. They look like they are going to be in a fight to earn a playoff spot in the West. Much improved with those additions like Capara, Ozzie Alonso, Montreal, and Salt Lake. These are midweek games tomorrow night. You've got Philadelphia, who was unbeaten in 6. They lost to Portland. Philly's got Colorado, who suddenly won 2 straight games. This wild and wacky league. D.C. and Chicago tomorrow at 8. D.C.'s winless in 3, despite a lot of star power. They haven't been able to hit next gear, D.C. United. Chicago, it's hit or miss with them. Kansas City and L.A., so it's a big midweek slate. And then you've got Vancouver and Toronto, a Canada showdown on Friday. Montreal, Orlando City, Atlanta, Chicago. Start the Saturday affairs. Got the Red Bulls and Salt Lake. Salt Lake looked really good against Atlanta last weekend. Red Bulls are undefeated in 4. They're starting to pick it up a bit. DC again with San Jose. Was playing loose, having fun. Wondolowski scoring these goals. What a wonderful career he's had. And now the all-time leading goal scorer. And then Dallas and Seattle. Chad Marshall spoke about this a little bit on the telecast on Saturday. But, man, a hat tip to that guy for just a wonderful career. Over 400 games played. Didn't even know if that was going to be the case 12 years ago when he had 3 concussions in 2007 here. But his Sounders, which lost Sunday to Kansas City, they're at Dallas, and Dallas only has, I think, 2 goals in their last 4 games. So they've scuffled a bit. Houston's still in contention in the West, although there's some big room being made by LAFC right now atop the conference. Houston's got Kansas City. You got Colorado and Cincinnati. Colorado's got a 2-game week. Game of the week in the league is Portland, and they're brand new digs, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. They got 4 wins on their 12-game road trip to start the season, so they're in some pretty good contention. This Brian Fernandez looks pretty good. They've got LAFC, best team in the league, 10:30 kick, and then Sunday you got Minnesota and Philly. We'll be back with you, of course, next Tuesday, despite no crew game. We'll know the Open Cup draw, which comes Thursday for Columbus. They should know where they're entering and where they're playing. L.A. New England also finishes out the week. So busy week of MLS soccer. Of course, the most important one here inside 270 is Crew trying to get a win in this 3-game losing streak and stop the struggles of losing 8 of their last 9. So 7:30 Saturday. We're back with you next week, 9 o'clock. We'll get you ready for the last few games of the MLS slate before the full-on Gold Cup break, and we'll preview that Gold Cup as well. I want to thank JP Dellacamera, who's the voice of the Women's World Cup, with a little bit of a preview for us. Glenn Crooks, voice of New York City FC, and, of course, Zack Steffen. It's been a pleasure watching him play the last 2.5 seasons, and big things ahead for the U.S. #1 national team goalkeeper. Send our best to Dwight. We send our best to the Dayton area, too. And those devastating tornadoes coming Memorial Day night. So hope everyone's okay. Dwight is a Dayton guy, so Centerville by trade. So don't want to forget that. Thanks for listening, everyone. CB at the controls. Alan Behringer. We'll be back with you next Tuesday at 9. We're back in action on Saturday. Thanks for listening, everyone. Inside the Crew, 97.1 The Fan.
Tough to listen to the radio at work? Check out the Fan app or listen online to Carpenter and Rothman from noon to 3 at 971thefan.com.
Papa John's believes it's good to be different, so we've added 6 new pizzas to our handcrafted specialty menu. Because no one rolls with an all-cheese crew. So get together and figure out who's a meatball and pepperoni and who's an ultimate pepperoni. Who's a flying Hawaiian or a zesty Italian. And who gets the title of Mr. or Miss Congeniality, the pepperoncini. That's all the ingredients you need for a good time. And right now, get any large specialty for just $12. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. At participating U.S. stores, taxes and delivery fee extra.
From the opening kickoff through the 90th minute, your Columbus Crew SC never stops battling to secure a victory. And at Medical Mutual, we never stop working to provide high-quality health insurance plans for individuals, families, and businesses throughout Ohio. Every day, our goal is to offer members an extensive network of doctors and hospitals and award-winning service. As the official health insurer of the Columbus Crew SC, we're happy to assist you with a scoring plan that meets your needs. Visit medmutual.com/CrewSC.
You deserve the best of everything. And you deserve to have it all close to home, especially when it comes to your health. That's why Mount Carmel is proud to announce that Mount Carmel Grove City is now open. As the first full-service hospital in the Grove City area, we're focused on providing you and your family with comprehensive heart and vascular care, orthopedics, maternity care, neuroscience, cancer care, and more. And it's all closer to home. To learn more, visit mountcarmelhealth.com.
Attention, this is a money-making opportunity. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-secured returns up to 18%. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory, not available to the public. So, if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text FAST to 31,000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit. And get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices for big profits. All from home, working part-time. Text FAST to 31,000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit, plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text FAST to 31,000. That's FAST to 31,000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
Hey, what's cooking today at Raising Cane's?
We are.
Raising Cane's.
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 We are.
Raising Cane's.